Welcome to our rest and restore sadhana or practice. I recommend practicing a lunar salutation or the Chandra Namaskar before entering into this practice, if you can find the time, since that will warm the body and make it ready to go into a bit more deeper stretches. We'll be holding our asanas for longer. This practice is beautiful for in the evening especially, and perhaps on a Monday or any other time when you want a restorative, slow, inward drawing practice. So I do have some props. I think you can see them. So I have a bolster. I'm already going to take my strap because we're going to need that shortly. Blocks. If you don't have a block, you could use a book, but then placing a blanket over it. I have my candles, my crystals, because I love that. That's optional, of course. I have my journal after my evening practice. I like to write down any thoughts that come up, and you know, it's just a beautiful way to end the day. I also have some lavender essential oil, or any other essential oil that you love, that is calming. We'll use that if you have at the end of practice. But for now, let's take our strap and come onto our backs, and we're going to start with the right leg, so bending both knees, and then we're going to take the strap. You can simply use it like this, but I came prepared, so I'm going to do like that. So placing it on the right foot, and then extending the leg, activating the right foot. Grounding through both shoulders, elongating the neck. You can keep this left leg bent, makes it a little bit easier. And then we start bringing that right leg towards the upper body or the crown of the head, depending on where you are in your practice. And if you want, you can elongate that left leg and perhaps use the left hand to ground through the left hip. So coming into our lunar, our slow breath. Inhaling through the nose, all the way down into the belly, feeling the belly rise on the inhale like a balloon. And then exhaling through the nose. Perhaps drawing that leg a little bit closer on the exhale. A few more breaths here. And then we're going to take that right leg and we're going to start bringing it over towards the left. grounding through the right side of the body, the right hip, the right shoulder. Keeping that right foot active. Slowly start bringing that right foot to the top, towards the top of the mat. Keep grounding through the right side of the body. And breathe. And then slowly releasing on an exhale. Bending both legs. Coming into the other leg. Your choice, keeping the right leg bent or placing it on the earth. So every side is slightly different. This for me is perhaps not the easiest side. So I'm keeping my leg bent here. Closing the eyes. This practice is not for the outer gaze, for the outer eye. It's for that inner gaze. Grounding through both shoulder blades. And breathe. Beautiful. And then bringing that left foot towards the right. Grounding through that left hip, left shoulder. Elongating through the left leg. Perhaps bringing that left foot closer towards the top of the mat. Beautiful. And releasing. You can put the strap to the side. I'm not going to be using that anymore during this practice at least. And then we're going to come towards the wall. So you might want to turn your yoga mat or whatever you're using around. And I'm just going to stay on the floor or half on the floor. And then we want to bring our hips, our buttocks as close as possible against the wall. So it's a little bit of crawling around until you get there. And then placing both legs onto the wall. And we're going to start with bending the right knee and placing the right foot just below the knee on top of the left leg. Important to keep the left foot active here to protect the knee. We're also actively going to bring that right knee towards the wall. So it's still an active stretch. After this, we're going to come into some less active stretches. So what we do here, We ground through the hips, through the sit bones. We keep the lower back on the ground, grounding through the shoulders. And then we start bringing that left foot or left heel down the wall. Whatever that means to you. Finding a place right in between the comfort and the discomfort. The most important part is keeping the lower back on the ground. So if you feel your lower back coming off the ground, you want to slide your left foot a little bit higher on the wall. Placing one hand to the belly and the other to the heart. Breathe. And if you feel you want a little more, sliding the foot down the wall. And then slowly releasing, bringing the foot, the left foot back up the wall to softly release. And then straightening that right leg, placing the left foot on top of the right leg, activating the left foot, left knee actively moving towards the wall. And then we go in search of that equanimity, that just right place. So sliding that right foot down the wall, keeping your hips grounded, your lower back. And breathe. Perhaps sliding that right foot down just a little bit more. And then slowly releasing by sliding that right foot up the wall. And for the next asana, you might want to use a bolster, something that's fairly heavy. So staying close to the wall, coming into a Supta Upavishta Konasana. So opening the legs wide. And then taking perhaps the bolster to add some extra weight. Opening to the inside of the legs. Grounding through the lower back, upper back, shoulders. Closing the eyes to look better inside. And then taking the breath, and with that breath, sending it to any parts of the body that can use some love, some release, some grace. Perhaps finding some more opening by sliding your feet down the wall. And if you want to stay a little longer, please press the pause button. And otherwise, join us for our inversion. So slowly releasing on an exhale, sliding the feet up the wall, placing the feet together, coming into our Viparita Karani. So it's an inversion. Many kinds of inversion, of course, in yoga. Handstand, headstand. But this, my friends, this is my absolute favorite. And if you only have a few minutes in the evening to practice, this is such an amazing asana. It's so relaxing and restoring, rejuvenating, and you immediately feel that blood flow starting to reverse. We humans, we walk around on our feet the whole day, or we sit at a chair in an office, or the blood has to pump all the way down to the feet, and then when we reverse that blood flow, that's detoxifying, cleansing, rejuvenating. So placing one hand to the belly, the other to the heart. And breathe. And again, if you wish to stay longer, please do so. Otherwise, slowly releasing, we're going to come back to our mat. So like a little animal, slowly crawling around. For this next, you want to use a bolster or a pillow or a block. If you're using the bolster, I'll show that first. We're going to make the bolster a little bit thicker, a little bit less thick at the bottom. And we're going to place our lower back against there, and we're going to lie down on the bolster. Come into a heart opener. Soft back bend. And if you, like me, want to use the block, we're going to place the block just beneath our shoulder blades. So the tip of the shoulder blade is going to touch the block. It's not going to be on the block, it's just going to be on top of the block. So spreading your feet wide, at least hip distance apart. Opening the arms to the sides, palms facing up. And from here, we're going to visualize a wave of relaxation entering from the crown, coming down over the face, our closed eyes relaxed in their sockets, our jaw is relaxed, our mouth is relaxed, our neck is relaxed, our shoulders, our heart, the belly, the upper back, the lower back, the hips, relaxed, the wave passing over our upper legs, our lower legs, all the way down to our lotus feet. Imagining yourself as a block of cheese, perhaps a vegan cheese, melting in the evening sun, melting over the block or bolster, completely relaxed. And breathe. And then slowly releasing by rolling over to our left side, our lunar side, and then with the right hand releasing the block or bolster from underneath. From here, slowly coming up into seated. And for this, our last asana, this evening sadhana, you want to use a bolster or something else that's soft and supportive. So we're going to come into a child's pose. So perhaps wide-legged. Just a soft opening of the legs. And if you have your essential oil, you might want to use a tissue to just drop some essential oil on your tissue. I'm just going to do it straight on my bolster because I don't mind a few stains on there. That's already been with me for many years, so it's used to this kind of treatment. And then from there, sliding onto your bolster, finding a restorative, calming place of the body. Perhaps your forehead placed on the bolster, or perhaps looking to one side or the other. Your arms relaxed, perhaps facing down or around the bolster. Perhaps using your hands as an extra pillow. Feeling your belly on the inhale towards the softness of the bolster, rising and falling with the exhale. Staying here, breathing, relaxing for as long as you like. And perhaps afterwards, after you finished your sadhana, writing in your journal anything that rises or rose from within during practice. Om.